Hi everyone, my name is Ma'am Jamie and today we're going to have a BLEPT review. So we're going to discuss a very important topic called the Survey of Afro-Asian Literature. So if you're an English major, this is very useful to take. And without further ado, let's get started with the course description. See you on the next slide. Okay, so for the course description, it says, this course explores the rich and diverse literary traditions of Africa and Asia. So examining key themes, historical influences, and cultural context. Now, students will analyze significant works from Afro-Asian writers, understanding their contribution to world literature. And the topics include colonialism, identity, social change, and cross-cultural exchange. So, providing a comprehensive overview of literary movements, genres, and notable authors are also part of it. So, by engaging with these texts, learners will develop a deeper appreciation for the shared human experiences reflected into Afro-Asian narratives. So, very interesting, right? So, I know that you are excited. I prepared here a 10 items quiz, and no worries guys, after each item I'm going to reveal and discuss the correct answer and why are the remaining options are incorrect. Okay, so for number 1, which of the following works is widely considered to be the first novel in world literature? So it is written by a Japanese noblewoman and offers a detailed depiction of court life during the Heian period. So A, The Tale of Genji by Murasaki Shikibu. B, The Tale of Q by Nguyen Du. C, Dreams of the Red Chamber by Shao Xian. D, Things Fall Apart by Shinwa Ashibe. So, yeah, you can choose what is the best answer. Okay, so for the answer for number 1 is letter A. So, The Tale of Genji by Murasaki Shikibu. So, letter A is the correct answer because written in early 11th century by a Japanese noblewoman, it is renowned for globally as a pioneering work of fiction, and it offers a portrayal of aristocratic life and psychological nuances during the Heian period. Now, The Tale of Q by Nguyen Du is incorrect because it is highly significant epic poem in Vietnam literature. Okay, so letter B came from Vietnamese literature, and it is not considered as the first novel in world literature because it was written on 19th century. Okay, it was written on 19th century, while letter C, Dream of the Red Chamber by Shao Xian, it was a masterpiece of a Chinese literature, but it was written on 18th century. This is a complex novel about the decline of wealthy aristocratic family. However, I believe that it came later than The Tale of Genji. So letter D is also incorrect because Things Fall Apart was written on 1958. It is a foundational work of modern African literature. So it is critically acclaimed for its portrayal of pre-colonial Igbo society and the society of British colonialism. So it is a novel and not the first claim or under Heian period. So I hope you all got the correct answer and somehow realize what is the correct answer and have an idea with the other literature as well from the year they was written. So yep, so for the answer for this number 1 is letter A, the tale of Genji. Okay, so for number 2, Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart is a seminal work in African literature primarily because it A. advocates for the complete rejection of all traditional African costumes in favor of Western modernization. Letter B. presents a romanticized and idealized view of pre-colonial African societies without acknowledging internal conflicts. Letter C. explores the tragic consequences of the clash between traditional Igbo society and encroaching British colonial power. Or letter D. focuses solely on the psychological impact of war on individual soldiers devoid of cultural context. So, what do you think, guys, is the correct answer? So, you can type it down below to guess or somehow write it in the paper. Then later on, I'm going to discuss what is the correct answer and why those threes are incorrect. I mean, those three options are incorrect. So I got you here. Okay, so for the correct answer for number 2 is letter C, because this novel's central theme is the devastating impact of colonialism on the well-established custom, religions, and social order of the Igbo people. Now, letter D is incorrect because there are elements of conflict. So the novel's primary focus is not on war in the modern sense, but on the systematic disruption caused by imposition of colonial rule. Now, letter B is incorrect because Achebe deliberately avoids romanticizing pre-colonial life, while letter A is also incorrect because Achebe's novel critically examines both the strengths and weakness of a traditional Igbo society, and as well as the destructive nature of colonialism. So again, the correct answer for this is letter C. Okay, for number 3, the question is, the literary movement of negritude, championed by figures like Leopold Sedar Senghor, primarily aimed to A. promote the adoption of French culture and assimilation for African intellectuals, B. denounce all forms of African tradition and embrace purely Western artistic forms, C. affirm and celebrate Black African cultural identity, values, and civilization in response to colonial denigration, or letter D. argue for the superiority of Asian artistic expressions over African ones. So yeah, you can guess and you can read it again. So what do you think, guys, is the correct answer? So I will wait on the next slide. I will tell you why. Bye for now. Okay, so the answer for question number 3 is letter C again, because the negritude movement arose among African and Caribbean intellectuals to counter colonial stereotypes, while letter D is incorrect because it is focused on African identity and did not involve comparative claims about Asian artistic superiority. Letter B is incorrect because negritude actively sought to reclaim and celebrate African traditions like oral literature, while letter A, because A is also incorrect because this is precise a reaction against the pressure to assimilate into French culture. So again, for number 3, the movement of nigrature is letter C. Okay, it arose among African and Caribbean intellectuals. So see you on the question number 4. Okay, so for number 4, we have a question about Jose Rizal's Noli Me Tangere is considered as the cornerstone of Philippine literature and nationalism because it A. promoted blind obedience to the Spanish colonial government and the friars. B. provided a historical account of pre-colonial Philippine society and indigenous belief. C. critiqued the abuses of Spanish colonial rule, the friars, and advocated the social reform. D. focused primarily on romantic relationship within the Filipino elite, detached from political issues. So what do you think is the answer? Okay, the answer is letter C again. Why? Because the reason for that, it's Noli Me Tangere exposed the injustices, corruptions, and hypocrisy of the Spanish colonization government and the Catholic friars. So this awakes the nationalist sentiments among Filipinos and advocating for much needed social reforms. Now, letter D is incorrect because there are romantic elements like Crisostomo Ibarra and Maria Clara. These are deeply intertwined with and ultimately overshadowed by the political and social critics. Letter B is also incorrect because while it touches upon Filipino costumes, it's primarily focused on the contemporary during 19th century. Now, letter A is incorrect because Rizal's novel is overly critical of Spanish rule and the religious orders, highlighting their corruptions and abuses, so which ultimately lead to his execution. So, for this one, the correct answer is letter C. Okay, so for question number 5, in Japanese literature, the works of Haruki Murakami are characterized by all of the following except A. elements of magical realism and surrealism. B. themes of alienation, loneliness, and the search for meaning in contemporary society. Letter C. frequent references to Western pop culture, music, and literature. Letter D. strict adherence to traditional Japanese narrative structures and a strong emphasis on classical poetry form. So what do you think guys is the correct answer? So let's see on the next slide. So the correct answer is letter D because strict adherence to traditional Japanese narrative structures and a strong emphasis on classical poetry form. So this is the correct answer as it is the exact clause. Murakami's writing style is largely contemporary, influenced by Western literary tradition, while letter C is in while letter C, this is a correct as a characteristics of Murakami's work. His novels are replete with mentions of Western jazz, so this is not the exception. While letter B, so his protagonists are often solitary and introspective individuals grappling with existential questions in modern, sometimes isolating urban environments. So this is the exception. While letter A, elements of magical realism and surrealism, This is correct as a characteristics of Murakami's work. So his novels often feature bizarre, dreamlike sequences and events that defy logical explanation. So this is not the exception. And since ABC is not the exception, therefore letter D is the correct answer. Okay, so for number 6, this is quite easy. So according here, which Nigerian author often called as the father of modern African literature? He wrote the classic novel Things Fall Apart. So A, is it Awol Soyinka? B, Chinua Achebe? C, Ngugiwa Chong-o? D, Nadine Gordimer? So what do you think, guys, is the correct answer? Okay, so the correct answer for that is letter B, because Chinua Achebe is widely recognized for his groundbreaking novel Things Fall Apart, which explores the impact of colonialism on Igbo society. Now, letter A is incorrect because Wole Soyinka is another famous Nigerian novelette known for plays like Death and the King's Horseman. Now, letter C is incorrect because it is a prominent Kenyan writer known for works like Whip Not Child. So this focus on anti-colonial themes, while letter D by Nadine Gordimer, she was a Nobel laureate from South Africa, known for her work against apartheid. Okay, so for the correct answer is letter B. Okay, for number 7, we have the epic poem The Tale of Q is considered the national literary masterpiece of which Asian country? A, is it China? B, is it Japan? C, Vietnam? Or D, India? Alright, the correct answer for that is letter C. So, why? Because on the first option, China is incorrect because China has its own great classical novels like Dream of the Red Chamber. But The Tale of Q is not Chinese. While Japan is incorrect as well because they have this famous classical work, The Tale of Genji. While letter D is also incorrect because India has epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata. So the only left option is letter C. So The Tale of You by Nguyen Du is a rebirth epic poem, and this is the central to Vietnamese literature and culture. So if you will observe, they are sort of similar, but if you will dig deeper on who are the authors nationalism, you will know the answer for this. So yep, that's all. Let's proceed with question number 8. Okay, so for question number 8, it is which of the following themes is most commonly found in African literature written during or after the colonial period? Is it A, celebration of advanced industrialization and technology? B, challenges of colonialism, loss of traditional culture, and search for identity? Letter C, ancient Greek mythology and its influence on African thought? Or letter D, exclusive focus on individual emotional struggles without social context? Okay, so for the correct answer for number 8 is letter B, the challenges of colonialism, loss of traditional culture, and search for identity. So this is the correct answer because a vast majority of African literature from this period are directly addresses the historical experiences of colonialism. Meanwhile, letter A is incorrect because technology appears the primary focus is often on the disruptive effect of eternal forces rather than celebrating industrialization. Now, when we say letter C, this is also incorrect because African literature draws on its own rich indigenous mythologies. They have their own mythologies, not the ancient Greek ones. While letter D, this is incorrect because African literature often deeply embeds individual struggles within broader societal, political, and historical context. So the best and the correct answer is letter B. Okay, number 9. Jose Rizal, the Philippine national hero, wrote 2 influential novels that expose the injustices of Spanish colonial rule. So these are, is it A, The Joys of Motherhood and Second-Class Citizen? B, Cry, The Beloved Country and Disgrace? Letter C, Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo? Or letter D, Things Fall Apart and Arrow of God? So what do you think is the correct answer? Okay, so for letter A, this is incorrect because these are works by Nigerian. While letter B is incorrect because these are works by South African authors. Letter D, Things Fall Apart, we have already discussed this on our previous question. So this is also incorrect because these are works by Nigerian author. So the correct answer left is letter C because these 2 novels by Jose Rizal are foundational to Philippine literature and nationalism because it openly criticized the Spanish colonial issues or abuses to Filipinos. So yep, the correct answer is letter C. Okay, for number 10, I believe you are somehow familiar with it. It is the negritude movement in Africa and Caribbean literature was primarily concerned with A, is it promoting European languages as superior literary forms? B, affirming and celebrating Black African cultural identity and values? Or letter C, encouraging political neutrality in post-colonial nations? Or letter D, is it developing new agricultural techniques for economic growth? So what do you think is the answer? So leave the comment below. Okay, so for the correct answer, it is letter B again. So the core purposes of the negritude movement was to counter colonial denigration by proudly asserting the richness, dignity, and unique contribution of Black African culture and civilization. Letter D is incorrect because economic development is important. The negritude movement was a literary and a cultural one, and it is not focusing on agriculture. So letter C is also incorrect because negritude had strong political undertones, so advocating for self-determination and cultural liberalization. So they are more focusing on this one, while letter A is incorrect because negritude aimed to value and assert African languages and cultural expression, and it is often in direct opposition to colonial linguistic dominance. So again, the correct answer for this one is letter B.